his head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just gonna line up here for Lazzy. He's gonna find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feet.
Gets the ace. Available, just spin to win all over.
That game was insane.
All right, what's going on, Saints Nation? We're just about to get ready here for an NECC Overwatch matchup. Going to be an exciting best of 3 up against our fellow Ontario squad up against Fanshawe College, or the Fanshawe Falcons. My name is Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners, and joining alongside me once again here for the second time this week here, we've got Amanda Dupuy. How are you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing great, Dan. Get to cast with you yet again this week. Very exciting.
Absolutely. Like we were saying a little bit beforehand, it felt like months, and now we get to do it twice in 1 week. So how about that? But yeah, just because we're getting a ton of Overwatch action, everything's been pretty exciting. I know the Saints coming off of a heck of a series earlier on in the week, but now different league, different format, sometimes seen as a little bit more confusing, and with less time to like fiddle around, less time to actually execute, with it being the best of 3 here in NECC.
Definitely. Excited to see 2 Ontario schools go face-to-face today. It's going to be interesting. We haven't seen too much of Fanshawe this year, as far as I know, but last year it was pretty close. So we'll have to see how it fares up today, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt like we ran into Fanshawe like every other week in one esport or another across all the titles last semester or last year, but yeah, it's kind of like lay out the tail of the tape back then. I think I was telling you a little bit earlier, but it was pretty neck and neck for Overwatch in regards to both Fanshawe and St. Clair in the last semester. I think we just barely edged them out, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong on that, but from what I've been looking at least in regards to the recruiting side of things, like we definitely recruited a ton more. I know that's been definitely a major effort here at St. Clair for the past year. You know, Fanshawe, they have a new player who is Grandmaster. However, other than the one player, everybody else is either still the same or like was already at the school and are kind of like a dark horse, so to speak, here. So I don't want to say it, but in theory, on paper, Saints should be the favorites here. But I would love to be surprised.
For sure. It's not very often that you see an esports team that, especially in collegiate, that's almost the exact same roster for like a year or two at a time. There's a lot of, because there's so many people coming in and out with 2-3 year programs, you might have the same roster for 2 years if you're really lucky.
Right.
But yeah, that's interesting that only one new player and then the rest are all from the school. So it's good to see.
Absolutely, of course. We're seeing right here, everybody just getting all set up, good to go. I know the vibe when we were just in there a second ago was pretty exciting. Everybody overall rather positive spirited, which is definitely a good thing considering, like I think we were talking about on Monday, this team is so momentum heavy as of late, and one like stone in the road can really throw off their play for the rest of the series. But starting off on a good mental, ready to rock, ready to go. We see Nine, Cheesy, and the rest of the squad there ready to play, and it sounds like they've been pretty eager for most of the day.
Absolutely. Like, as you can see right now, it looks like they're just sitting around discussing a game plan. Like, overall very positive. Tuesday, I know they finally secured a win in NECC, and that was a big confidence booster for them, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because they were on a bit of a streak across multiple series, if I do recall, multiple leagues. So to just finally nip that in the butt and be able to just like see the light at the end of the tunnel, just to keep on going. It's just like good on them to kind of turn it around. Let's see if we can keep it going here tonight. And of course, with the 2 coaches, we even have, of course, a new substitute to the squad, with that being Ubel. So the team's growing, and the momentum, just the atmosphere in that room has just been fantastic, and hopefully it stays that way.
I hope we get to see him play sometime soon. I remember a lot of people on the team used to play with him like a year ago before anybody really even made the team currently. So it's kind of cool to see everybody from who kind of played together online are now all in one big team.
It's funny, small world sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
Just meet him through a friend of a friend or from a LAN sometime, and then wait a minute, you're actually my teammate now. So how about that? But it's what it is. Speaking of Hubel, I think we do have the rest of the roster nearby that we can very well go through in just the moment here. Of course, up on the front lines, it is going to be Apostle and G Scales. Then on DPS, Kale is available, but we do also have Bailable and Cheesy. And then on the support line, it's going to be 9 and Arjunk.
Some very creative usernames. I've always thought about this one squad here. I'd like to ask probably like some people like 9 why he called himself that.
Which is really funny too, because I'm like looking at his Twitter, then I see him playing Pokemon Go, and he's Melanin on everything.
Yeah.
So why are you 9 here? Like
that's the question. We're gonna have to ask him.
And then I feel like he's got another username of some sort somewhere else. It's just like the man of many names, so to speak here. Maybe the man of 9 names if I'm lucky.
That would be it.
That would be perfect, but we'll have to ask him one day for sure. Now, with being the best of 3 format, I'm just going to quickly kind of explain how NECC works their magic here. Basically, it is a best of 3. However, no matter the result, we do play all 3 games, and it's because of the they want to try and avoid as many tiebreakers as possible, so get as many map counts as possible, so that no one, like if you win all of your maps 2-0, you very well could, like, it messes with the system a little bit from what I understand with if it goes like 2-1s or something like that. I'm trying to remember. It made sense in my head a couple moments ago, not so much right now, but it's still quite awesome because no matter what, we're going to be seeing 3 games here. And even if you go up 2-0, like you still have to worry about game number 3, and then whoever's like down and not out, it's like, okay, we still have another chance. We can still get 1 point on the board, which while it may hurt at the moment, it very well could help them somewhere down the line. So that 3rd game, if it is a 2-0, is definitely not a throwaway game. For
sure. And it's almost like the only other place you really see that is like scrims, right? You play like 3 maps, and you play all the different maps within those maps, like in Overwatch. So I remember when I played, I was always so confused. I'm like, is it a scrim or is it a game? And it's like, oh, it's a game. I'm like, oh, okay. It's just different than what I'm used to, but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, definitely different, and it explains why all these leagues, it just personally confuses me at the end of the day, especially looking at Overwatch. By the end of this week, they will have 3 leagues, all with separate rule sets, separate map orders. Like, people always laugh at me when I'm in between game 1 and 2. It's like, oh, is it a hybrid mix? Is it escort? Is this 2CP? I have no idea because I don't remember all 3 leagues' a specific order, but it keeps things fresh, keeps things exciting, that's for sure.
I do believe they're playing in Blizzard's tournament for our league as of Friday.
Yes, exactly. That's some more Overwatch Friday and Saturday. Best of 5 action there. It'll be off stream, unfortunately, but we'll definitely be keeping tabs on them nonetheless. Just a matter of time before we hop on into the swing of things here and get started with game number 1. If I recall correctly and the map has been assigned, it should be Lijiang Tower first, but I very well could be wrong in that regard. But it would be some sort of control map for sure, to say the least.
I like the little circle they have going on there. It looks like they're strategizing, or very, very, very interesting. It's cool to see a team kind of. I haven't seen a team on like in the nest yet. That's kind of just been like, okay, huddle up, let's talk, So
yeah, like esports in general has been very spoiled in the sense that, oh, we just all hop on Discord, it's okay. But no, you're in this kind of environment. You might as well like gather around. Let's listen to the coaches together. Let's see what's going on, while also letting Dawson get a good couple of pictures in the background as well of everybody strategizing, like you said. So
of course,
it's good to see, because for whatever reason, I don't know what it is about the esports community, but they really don't like things being the same way as like traditional sports.
Yeah.
And I know a big one, like I know it's kind of off topic, but we have a couple minutes here. Just with coaching. Like you think of hockey, you think of basketball, like you come off the ice, you come off the court, and the coach is like mid game coaching you, right?
Mm-hmm.
but yet esports absolutely insists on that never being the case for coaches. And I'm thinking to myself, and I know a couple of the management agree with me on this one, that, like, in theory, how top level would this game be, or any of these esports be, if while you were competing, you had a coach that was still able to just see your point of view? Not see both point of views and like be able to calculate ultimates and whatnot, unless they can do it by head, but they wouldn't be able to visually see it. How precise would this game look? Like,
That would be crazy.
I would love to absolutely see what that would look like, but unfortunately, the question then comes up: well, they might have a coach, but we don't have a coach that's qualified. Well, get one. But I mean, we're still, esports is still young, to say the least here.
It's in its infancy.
Even after, like, whatever, 7 to 10 years, that's still extremely young compared to hundreds and hundreds of years for traditional sports.
For sure. I think having a coach during the game would actually be, like, pretty beneficial too, because, like, if you start tilting and stuff like that, sometimes it's just you, like, in your head, you kind of like calming with your teammates. Sometimes, like, a coach would be like, hey, this is what we got to do this round, okay? Just brush it off. You guys got this, right? And sometimes that's all you need, and like to kind of be like, oh, so just so you know, like, they're probably gonna rotate this way. Let's rotate this other way, and I think it could be beneficial. But again, it kind of is like, where do we draw the line? Because there are ways, like if you were on tier 1, for example, like tier 1 esports. Well, if you're on a stage, your coach could see everything.
Yeah, how do you police that, right?
Exactly. So it's kind of like, where do we draw the line?
Yeah, I know. Thinking about League of Legends and stuff as well. I know we're here in an Overwatch stream, but like the coach shows up for picking bans, and then you kind of throw him off to the back. It's like, okay, you're done. Good night. We'll see you next game.
Pray we retain the information you've given us.
that just feels so wrong. But at the same time, yes, of course, how do you police it? So fair enough. But still just waiting on a couple more players to hop into the swing of things and get the maps all sorted out. I think we are at least in the lobby, so it should just be a couple more moments here. But real quick before we do get to that point. So we kind of have a bit of the backstory, knowing the level of St. Clair's recruitment compared to Fanshaw's this time by. That being said, I don't want to sleep on Fanshawe. What are your predictions going into this game out of this best of 3?
So since it is best of 3 and we're playing all of the maps, I think St. Clair will, I want to say, but I don't want to curse them. I want to say St. Clair will win 2 of those maps, and Fanshawe will win 1. Because I don't think they're gonna go down without a fight. I think it's gonna be a very close match tonight.
So you're thinking, well, then let me actually express that a little further. So Saints win 2 in a row, drop game 3, or drop either game 1 or 2, and then win the series in game 3.
I think they're gonna do 2 in a row, and then they're like, yeah, we did it, and then just not really care about the 3rd game.
Which would definitely suck, since it's still like game 3 is still very critical, but at the same time, yeah, it seems very probable. Like all of a sudden you see something a little bit unconventional. All of a sudden the pirate ship or something comes out and the Bastion's out to play, or something random like that.
Usually see some funny things that they just want to try out because they're like, we already secured the win. Let's try something new and treat it like a scrim.
And I've been looking at the Saints roster in the past couple games as well. They are not afraid to get a little reckless at times here. We've seen them win team fights and just go way far past where they should, but we'll have to see how well disciplined they are in this game here, or if we'll see some of the same tendencies. Personally, I, of course, didn't say my prediction yet. I'm guessing this is going to be the 3-0 sweep here for the side of St. Clair. But again, I don't mind being wrong. I want to be wrong, and in fact, so like Fanshawe, come out swinging, rooting for you too. Even though prediction-wise, I might not necessarily be. At the end of the day, I say it time and time again when I'm on stream here. As much as this is the St. Clair Saints stream, what I care for more is the fact that we see ourselves a dang good match here. So that's what I'm hoping for at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I'm excited because it's like, I remember when we played Fanshawe last year. It was always neck and neck. I remember, like, I think we won once from them, and they took us out twice, I think, or something like that. Like, we kind of underestimated them at first, and that was our downfall, I think, because we were like, oh, well, I think our team is good, I think we're good, and we kind of let our guard down, and that's where they got us. So I think that as long as St. Clair, in theory, doesn't let their guard down, just plays it as if it was, a team like for example, like Northwood or something, you know, like top of the leaderboards, then I think a 3-0 could happen.
Definitely looking forward to the next time that the Overwatch squad gets to play Northwood. It would be interesting to see where we square up in that regard, but it would be even more interesting to see where we square up right here now up against Fanshawe, because like you said, if it is in fact the case, then we won one and like lost twice. Then right now, in fact, I was wrong from earlier. They have the record on us here, so we need to kind of get back on the positive side of things here sooner rather than later. So just around the corner before we get underway. But before we do end up doing that, how about we give our sponsors a little bit of love here, of course, because of course this program would not be possible without them, of course. That also including our newest sponsor, which everybody went crazy for, of course, when it was announced. That's of course Crunchyroll, the Netflix of anime. That's been the way of describing it for those who aren't quite aware. And if you want to check it out and see if you can find some shows that you like for yourself, why not try that 14-day premium trial that you could find at crunchyroll.com/saints. Give it a shot and let us know in the Twitch chat, or let us know in the YouTube comments or something, which new shows have you picked up or something, so maybe that I can watch something other than Love Live. So we'll have to see. I need some inspiration. Of course, we have some additional sponsors, of course, that being St. Clair College, St. Clair's SRC, St. Clair Alumni Association, Subway, Tim Hortons, and the Zeckelman School of Business and Information Technology. Thank you all so much for making this program possible.
Definitely. I know for sure Crunchyroll I've been using a lot more frequently now, and I binge watched all of Rising of the Shield Hero in like a week.
Oh, dang.
Good anime, especially if you're a Reinhardt fan, you'd probably enjoy it because they too have shields in that one too. So yeah, you'd probably like it.
I know, speaking of Reinhardt, we have I think it was Apostle. Isn't he grinding out like all of One Piece right now?
Oh my goodness. So
we might not see him for a while, everybody.
I think this is something this is something that I want to say publicly for sure. Apostle lives here. No, I'm just kidding. He's in the nest all the time, and when he's not playing Overwatch, he's got this whole stand-up fan blowing on him. He has snacks, and he has his feet up, and he's watching One Piece, and he's trying to get through all of One Piece before the new year.
That will be a challenge, that's for sure, but at least he's comfortable while doing it. And I know even a few times I've peeked in there, he'll be playing Overwatch while watching One Piece. And
he's on a roll.
That is some dedication right there.
I told him that I don't think it's possible, but he's trying to prove me wrong. So, yeah, I guess we'll keep you updated on Apostle's One Piece journey. He's like 150 episodes in or something.
Out of what, 1,000?
Out of 1,000 to 1,200, something like that. Like,
good luck, my friend.
Yeah, we'll keep the stream updated, I guess.
Absolutely, of course. Just some of the fun things that we can expect here in the because we're just paired up with Crunchyroll like this. It's just awesome, but. Of course, just a couple more minutes. Thank you all for sticking around with us, and of course, big thank you to the fans who are already here, ready to rock. I don't know what it is, but about Overwatch, it's one of those games that a lot of people have kind of slept on as of late. Like, okay, lack of updates, no new characters. This game's dead, right? Maybe on the professional level, because other than like Shanghai finally getting themselves their victory, like nobody ever talks about professional. However, whenever it comes to tier 2 and collegiate, everybody gets around to support their squad, so it's always awesome to see the Overwatch community come in here and supporting, whether it's the Saints or Fanshawe in this situation. Thank you all for hopping in already. Looking forward to bringing you a good match here tonight.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think Overwatch is just one of those games that it's very easy to get excited while watching it. You know, there's so much happening. There's usually, you know, if you watch like Overwatch League, the casters get really excited. We get really excited. So like, it's just fun. You know, I find like whenever I watch Overwatch, I'm always happy when I watch it. Rather than like some games are really slow and you're like, Overwatch, there's never a dull moment.
Absolutely. At some point during this evening, I will probably scream in your ear, sorry, not sorry, if it was a good one.
Rest in peace, headphone users.
That's why we have filters and limiters, so you don't get your ears blown out.
Exactly.
Your tech tip for the day. But yeah, just seeing if we even have the map or something going on right now. Almost there, still working on it here in the background. And I think I heard Busan. Busan is going to be the map for number 1 here. So I was talking about Lijiang. That was a nice thing. That was not NECC. So we're going to get to see at least a different map from map 1, and then we'll probably see King's Row in map 2 as per usual, and then like Rialto or something in game number 3. Just all the fan favorites coming out.
Oh, for sure. I haven't seen Busan for like a little bit. I like that map. It's actually really pretty. It's one of the newer ones in terms of Overwatch. Like the last 2 years, I think.
I was gonna say, it'd be, yes, newer, but it's still like 2 years old. So yeah.
Oh my goodness! Like, it still blows me away. We haven't gotten a new hero in like a year and a half. But hopefully Overwatch 2 will change that. But Busan is one of those maps that is just, it's so beautiful. There's so many different versions of the map. From, you have like inside the mecha base, then you have out in the city, like the downtown area, and then you have the shrine. So like it's just so diverse. And like the art aesthetic of everything, everything is beautiful.
And shoutouts to I think that's Yubel in the background watching the stream. Hey man, we see you. Hope you're having fun getting ready to hop into the comms with everybody as well, of course. But I think I either mentioned it on a stream before, or I was mentioning to the class from a couple mornings ago. I cannot remember, but I guess one of the beauties of Overwatch, with it being like there hasn't necessarily been an update in a while, like sometimes it throws people off. This really forces teams to really refine their style, and if they want something to change in the meta, they have to do it themselves.
Yeah,
of course. I feel like I've said this before on a stream. If I did, I definitely apologize. But like coming from the StarCraft's background, like our StarCraft just stopped getting updated, and it's like, okay, we're either going to be dealing with the same strategies over and over again, or we have to think of something. And time and time again, like people are thinking of new strategies or new variants of strategies, new compositions in what would be in this case here. And it's like, there's a certain beauty to that too, knowing you don't have to rely on the developer to make those changes for you. And that all these changes are happening because everybody is getting better. But at the same time, there's a reason why games like StarCraft don't exactly get as much viewership as some of these newer age titles, because there's not that new car smell sort of thing. But
yeah, exactly. I know Overwatch is definitely kind of in that phase right now between Overwatch and Overwatch 2, where they haven't added anything new to the game other than like a deathmatch map here and there for like the last year or two. So it's definitely interesting to see these different compositions people come up with. But as I say that, we're loading into Busan, and it looks like it's going to be Shrine first.
Okay, so now that I get to put a face to a name here in terms of the map, this is personally my most hated map. So, oh dear, we'll get to see what they can do, and maybe I can take a couple of pointers, because I think that I'm safe, and then I die over and over and over again as the poor Moira. I could fade away, but I still die. But that's also
it's so difficult to play Moira on this map, and any hero that you need to be like up in somebody's face, because you're like in that wide open area, and people can just flank around and kill you so easily.
Absolutely. Now going to take a look at our opponents here on the side of the Fanshawe Falcons. Let's take a look. The tank line, that is going to be Take Killer Mate and Sick Love. Then for the support line, we have Moon is Crying alongside Cliffwater. Then for the DPS, we have Matt and Wigan Hines, or Hines. Wigan Hines on the Cowboy right now. Going to be picking up the DPS as well.
Looks interesting here. We have what looks like a dive comp coming out of Saints here.
Yep.
And then more of like a, not necessarily, I guess it's more bunkery from Fanshawe. So it's going to be interesting to see totally two different styles of holding this point.
Yeah, as of right now, though, the only problem with the bunker style is it is extremely slow. And it looks like the Saints are going to be able to beat them out. We see G-Scale's already dumping himself right into the back line. Going to have to back out here as Apostle also was taking a little bit of heat. Our junk, okay, that's going to be the turret. So at least getting rid of the Torbjorn turret from Nat. Bit of a back and forth as of right now. Nobody quite going down. This is where the bunker shines, though. They're kind of in their position. They're just like this healing AoE style, just doing a ton of sustain. And right now, Wigan Hines is going to be able to take down Bailable, which could be the start of something here. Saints are now down the player. Just got to try and deal with the Cowboy in the background. But incoming, we do have 9 already coalesce as Kamehameha across the field. But you can't save Cheesy. And slowly but surely, Saints are starting to kind of turn this one, but it's still kind of even.
still back and forth. Looks like Fanshawe. Oh my goodness, a Baptiste with 3 kills in a row?
All
my
right.
goodness, I love to see it. Moon is crying? I'm sorry if I butchered your username, but that was some fantastic Baptiste gameplay.
Well, Moon is crying, and so are the Saints, because they just lost that point. We're already down to, or 15% on the board here for Fanshawe. Being able to get that first pick up on the point, first capture, absolutely huge. And sure enough, they grab the point, get the bunker back set up. However, can they get the steal here? Not quite going to be the case. The Molten Core going to be coming out here from Matt, just kind of covering up the point itself with all sorts of molten lava. You definitely do not want to step in that. You'll be deleted essentially instantly. But it still forces Saints to kind of put themselves in an awkward position. Now they've moved the bunker up so they can actually touch this point and contest it. So they may not necessarily have as much cover. However, it's still better than what the Saints are kind of working with here. As they're kind of stuck working from the far outstretched angles, and Cliffwater being able to take care of our junk is just going to shut this down. Saints got to retreat.
Looks like the bunker combo that they have going on with Fanshawe is really working against the Saints. You'd think, oh, actually, as I was about to say it, they are swapping up their ideas here. Looks like Apostle has switched to the Reinhardt. Bailable's going to opt for a Soldier. And see if they can kind of get more shields and kind of counter this very, very heavy comp. But as I say that, Wiegand takes out Cheesy. Oh my goodness, Apostle takes out Siklov in 9.
Okay.
Takes out Wiegand. Bailable, landing the little rockets onto Sigma.
Yeah, we did see, I think it was on Monday, we did get to see Bailable get that cosplay power-up, putting on the Soldier 76 mask and just absolutely wrecking everybody. But switch on over to the Soldier alongside the other changes there from the Saints. It honestly had me worried there for a little bit, because when you're behind and you switch, then all of a sudden you completely reset your ultimates and you're going to be behind even further. That's definitely a scary spot to put yourself into. But what's really good at busting up bunkers? How about a big old dragon across your team? That's going to be Cheesy. You're going to be forcing out some utility to keep themselves alive there on the side of the Falcons. The Molten Core going to be coming out here from Matt. However, that majority of that didn't really touch the point, so not necessarily getting the value I think he was hoping for in this situation. However, Saints going to just back up anyway, kind of give Fanshawe at least a little bit of positions, and Apostle got absolutely shreked in that situation. He's going to be the big tank down for the time being. Be able to try and counteract here with Attack Visor, but to be honest, he just doesn't have enough safety.
Without Apostle there, like, I mean, I don't know how they're holding this.
Cheesy though.
Cheesy and Bailable are kind of like holding them back. We got big coalescence from 9 going on, but without Apostle, I'm surprised they were able to hold that. That was usually when your Reinhardt dies, the rest of the team goes with him.
Yeah, they either go down like shortly after, or they all run back to like safety because they have no cover. But honestly, G-Scales alongside, I believe that was the coalescence coming out there from 9, allowed G-Scales to kind of go in and be the ultimate distraction. He was eating up so much damage, but he was also eating up so much healing from 9 to the point where he can get away with it. And now we're going to have ourselves another engage. This time the Dragon alongside the bomb. Which poison do you choose? And majority of them are going to be taking the Bunny Bomb, apparently, in this situation here. As time ticks down, 99%. Good night on round number 1. That isn't the full game number 1, but Saints going to start things off strong after, to be honest, they had a little bit of a bumpy start.
Yeah, it was a little bit bumpy there, but they were able to switch up that their team composition and get right back on track, able to kind of push them off the point and really like take a lot of ground once they did change.
Yeah, them switching characters or switching heroes definitely had me nervous, but they managed to pull it off here this time by. And now with a different style of map here for Busan, we'll have to see what Fanshawe decides to bring out here to kind of counteract. We do see possibly the Pocket Echo coming out here, as Matt has it highlighted alongside the Mercy here from Cliffwater. And it's more of a dive composition coming out this time here for the Falcons. So we'll get to see if they fly on forward and into the point and just catch the Saints off guard, because to be honest, this is a pretty upfront in your face kind of brawly style here for Saints, and I feel like an Echo could really mess that up.
For sure. However, Busan downtown can really be good for this kind of combination, because it's just, you have to be up close and personal at this point.
Yeah, man, that was absolutely brutal there. With everybody on the side of Fanshawe just seems to be falling one way or another. And a lot of that just had to start off with, of course, all of the Saints, but we did see there for a second, Available just basically unloaded 2 full clips into the Diva before they even got into position to actually tank any other damage. So that mech was destroyed before they even got anywhere close to the point. So beautifully done there for the entirety of the Saints to just tear down the front line. So it felt like they were almost on a power play of sorts. Like
yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
even a fair fight.
It looks like Fanshawe's going to try to go through the room of this little apartment here. Oh, their Reinhardt goes down. However, Wiegand and Matt get some revenge on St. Clair via Cheesy Available. But they have no DPS right now. However, Arjun does manage to take out their Baptiste. But looks like Fanshawe took out the majority of Saints members, and Apostle's going to have to back up. Hopefully not die to this Doom if he can get away with his life. G-Scale, same thing.
I mean, well, he may not necessarily been doing a ton of damage. Initially, was just so annoying. It kind of split the Saints' focus, and it let everybody else on the side of Fanshawe just tear through some of the squishier targets, and before you knew it, that was a team fight lost. A little bit extended, but did take them out nonetheless. However, ultimates, well, this might get a little bit scrappy. We have 4 on the side of Saints, and we're probably going to have 3 for this next fight on Fanshawe.
We're probably going to see the ultimates come out here as I say that.
There
Diva
goes.
Bomb comes out. G-Scales takes out Moon. Apostle getting 2.5 technically. Just, wow. Okay. I was about to say Saints are in the lead here, but it looks like Fanshawe is really holding on for dear life, fighting back. Another Diva Bomb kill, but from Fanshawe onto St. Clair. Looks like Fanshawe is going to hold that point for now.
I mean, this is brutal. This is a bit of a trickle fest coming in from both ends, but this is going to benefit Fanshawe the longer this goes on, as they do have control of the point right now. They have surpassed the Saints as of this moment, and just the more, even though it's contested, they're still gaining percentage. And right now, finally, the Saints take a second, gather themselves together, and will move this as a group, and it looks like they're finally going to take care of this. Granted, 63% on the side of the Fanshawe Falcons, that is definitely some good damage, and if they manage to get that point flipped one more time, it could be toast here for Saints for this second round.
Absolutely. I don't know how St. Clair managed to cap that point there, because it really, for a second, it looked like they weren't going to be able to, but I guess a quick regroup is all they really needed with the remaining members from spawn. But it looks like Fanshawe is going to try this building technique again, trying to get through there. Cheesy tries to wall them off, but it doesn't quite work. The Bap Wall goes, oh, nice shot from Available onto Matt. Apostle with the shatter onto Sick Love. Gonna try to rush in there, get the Diva. She manages to be killed by somebody else by the looks of it, and all of Fanshawe is down.
Well, that was interesting. They try to go to the high grounds, but yeah, Apostle and I believe it was Available, both right there, ready to go. And with the Doomfist getting taken down instantly, and then the Shatter may not have gotten everybody, but it got the tank. That's all that matters. And now it's forcing Fanshawe to just blitz this thing in one last dire attempt. They do manage to get themselves onto the point. Gonna hop around with 9 here for just a second, trying his damnedest to keep Apostle alive, but you gotta watch out for Deadeye. Where's this coming from? That's gonna be Wiegand Haynes on the side of Fanshawe, but no eliminations this time by. How the heck Apostle has not gone down in this situation is beyond me. Was sitting there at less than a quarter HP for pretty much a majority of that fight, and as soon as they could manage to clean up this Fanshawe squad, they will take game number 1. However, Fanshawe still trying everything they can to get themselves into position, but they're not going to be able to hold it off. St. Clair going to take game number 1 in rather convincing fashion.
That was wonderful. Actually, that was crazy by 9. Like, pocketing Apostle so hard. Sorry, like, I am just in shock by that. Like, I don't know how he kept him alive that whole fight. Like, Apostle was going in and getting kills, and that was awesome. But, like, 9, that's the MVP for me right there. He was basically just being a heal bot, like, just kept giving him heals, and he was trying to heal him faster than they could do damage, and it was, like, neck and neck. So Apostle couldn't go down, but he couldn't be fully healed either. So he was somewhere, like, in limbo in between, just trying to, like, get some kills, trying to get out a little bit, trying to hold that point, and it ended up paying off.
That's definitely perfect. And honestly, props to, well, to the whole squad, but of course to 9 and Arjunk as well. Of course, was on the Lucio, I believe, for the majority of that game. And it's one of those characters that you always kind of forget what kind of impact they have, but just the passive AoE healing on top of everything that that 9 was doing as well. was able to keep up that core tank and was just honestly beautifully done, which now puts us in a situation where Saints could very well take the series in this next game. They very well may, but we would still play game number 3, of course, since this is an NECC. And are we going to Saints Row, you think?
I think so. It's classic. Everybody loves Kings Row. I mean, Saints Row, because we officially renamed it. It belongs to us now. Sorry,
definitely
other teams.
Definitely not a name of another game or something.
Yeah, exactly. Totally not. So I think there's a possibility. I'm trying to see if it's in the background of one of these here. Like, my brain wants to go to Eichenwald when I see that monitor, but I don't know. I hope it's Kings Row.
That'd be interesting, because it'd be, I think, the first time that we would have seen it in competitive this season. Hybrid is the map, though, so yeah, that would be accurate.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. So that is an Eichenwald. That is a
Kings
Kings
Row.
Row. So we'll have to see in just a moment's time what they do decide. I think it's Fanshawe's pick, however, so we'll have to see in just a moment.
That is kind of nice to see with NECC being able to have those map picks. Like, the players get to choose them, and it's not just a set in stone kind of thing beforehand.
Yeah, so which hybrid map did I not mention?
Hollywood.
Exactly. Hollywood is where we're going for this next game. Of course, I'm hyping up Kings Row. We're hyping up Eichenwald. But oh yeah, what about Hollywood? Which, of course, is interesting in its own right. A very team-specific kind of map, because not everybody loves kind of dealing with the high ground, low ground battle that you have to deal with it. With there being so many tall buildings that you can hop on, it really aligns itself to certain styles. And anybody who really likes the death ball absolutely hates it, because they have to keep themselves on the cart, and they're just getting rained on.
Absolutely. I'm a little bit biased. I hate Hollywood.
Uh-oh.
Not the actual Hollywood, but the map Hollywood. It's not my favorite, mainly because first of all, I don't like getting shot from above and dying, and then I'm like, oh, I should have stood under cover, and then when I stand in cover, I get flanked and I die. And it's also it's a little bit difficult just because of the first point. Once you get the cart, if you can manage to get the cart, there's one gateway to go through and a little bit of like a side hallway, but it's pretty much the same area.
I hate
so it's
that spot.
very difficult to get out of there. If they can hold you there, like, you're not getting through if they've bunkered down there.
You're feeling really good if you can make that first corner in the second phase, but otherwise, if you're not quite there yet, that could absolutely be trouble as you see us getting ready to load on in. We'll see who attacks first in just a second here, but we'll see in just the moment. Looks like that we're going to be able to get on the attacking side first, so going to be, of course, a little bit of a switch here. So Saints are going to be on the yellow this time by Fanshawe in the blue. Saints, of course, looking to clean up the series and get the 2 right away and see if they can find themselves in a position to 3-0 this series, but still have lots of Overwatch left to go. Fanshawe, it started off kind of strong for them. They kind of faltered a little bit in the middle. They tried to bring it back at the end of that first game, but Saints were able to snuff it out in the end. Can they bring it back here for Hollywood? Maybe with some Bastion shenanigans?
Actually, that is the one thing about this map. I think this is the map that I see Bastion played on the most. I'd actually be interested in seeing somebody try to pull out the Bastion and see if they can work with it, but usually, like, very high skilled players, like the ones we're all witnessing today, they know how to counter a Bastion easily, so it can be kind of risky if the team doesn't play with them properly. But when you're also with such high level teams, they know how to help their Bastion not die while he's in turret mode.
Yeah, and while we may not necessarily have the Bastion, we did see Matt pick up the Torbjorn in the first game when it was on Busan, and he's going to bring this out here again for the defense of Hollywood, and you set it up very similarly as you would a Bastion. We see the Orisa there from Siklov going to be basically protecting them. Cliffwater right there as well for anybody who decides to dive, but we'll have to see as the Saints getting ready to move on forward. Cheesy is going to be pulling out an Echo for the first time in a good while here. They were kind of doing a Tracer Sombra thing for a little while there. And Arjunk not on the Lucio. He's actually on the Zenyatta, so he is feeling feisty, wants to get a little aggressive.
I love Zenyatta Baptiste. I think it's such a fun combination, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. Available going for a bit of a flank, it looks like. Waiting for the perfect moment, but they already know he's there, so he's going to have to back out somehow. Kind of trapped in this space if he's not careful. Baptiste on Fanshawe, knows that he's there. He needs to be careful. Cheesy gonna try to go for the flank as well. Can he do it? Might be able to just take out the turret, but he's gonna have to grab a health pack as well.
Okay, that was kind of cheeky though, because you see the bunker up on the high ground. You think that's where the turret's gonna be. Meanwhile, he had it up on the low ground. Arjoke just straight up snipes Moon, and that is going to possibly be the go button for the rest of the Saints to dive on in. Cheesy takes care of the main tank there in Sick Love. So now this is going to be the Saints' opportunity, and they are absolutely capitalizing it. Apostle, Cheesy, G-Scales, everybody's getting themselves on the kill feed. And this first point of Hollywood just got absolutely melted, and Saints are already halfway through. Maybe a little bit of an overextend. We've seen this before, but they confidently take that first point.
That's a little bit scary when they overextend like that, because we have seen in the past when they overextend a little bit, one of them dies and then they lose all the progress they already made. So hopefully they play a little bit safe here.
I mean, at least in this case, they would just be going back to spawn, getting ready to regroup and just leave the cart and bring it back. But I know we've seen it during like some of these controlled maps too, or some of these other hybrid maps even. They would definitely overextend a little bit. Of course, the running joke being that Available's always throwing very well could be a thing that comes into play. Always in good fun, of course. But now Saints basically where they want to be, or just keep one person, maybe two people at most on the cart, and everybody else just making it rain. It's great that your bunker can stop damage from the front, but what about on top? It's a little bit hard to deal with.
That is true. Oh, we have the dragons coming through from NECC, going through the middle of the map, but it only manages to take out Apostle. Cheesy is able to take out Tank Killer. Oh my goodness, Bailable kind of on a little bit of a roll here with the Tracer. G-Scales gets a bomb kill. Arjung, wow, 2 kills as Zenyatta. That's pretty good.
Okay, once again, this is your regularly scheduled announcement and reminder that just because you're support does not mean you can't also be DPS.
Exactly, coming from support mains.
Absolutely, and again, I was expecting it to come out of 9 because Baptiste might as well be a DPS, but fair enough, nicely done there from Arjunk to basically help push the Saints all the way to the second point. To be fair, they're just, okay, I thought they were going to give it up, but they're going to do one final defense of the second point to maybe just try and kill off a little bit of time on the clock, because if they have over 5 minutes to push it to point 3, this is probably going to be a 3 cap. C9 keeping everybody all topped up. That was G-Scales, was pretty wounded, but thankfully the support line is there for backup. Also moving on forward, has the bongo to just boost everybody's damage, but to be fair, Saints have been kind of pushed away. Good on Fanshawe, and now they have an opportunity to kind of reset a second.
St. Clair just kind of gonna group back up a little bit and see what they could do to kind of push back in on Fanshawe. I wasn't expecting Fanshawe to take that fight right there, but they did, and it went wonderfully for them.
It definitely worked out. I know it surprised me too. I thought this second point was all but done with, but to be fair, now Fanshawe have melted about 30 seconds, if not like another minute or so off the clock. And now we're going to see the bongo come on out. Where is that Deadeye? That is coming out from Matt. Gets off the Torbjorn and finds a double on both of the supports. This push is dead.
Available still kind of sneaking around though. He managed to get Nason. Gonna try to, oh my goodness, Pulse Bomb. Doesn't manage to get anybody, but it's still pretty interesting choice.
I mean, a little overzealous if I'm to be completely honest, but the Saints might be able to still make this as a bit of a capitalization, because at that point, all of the St. Clair squad were on their retreat. Pop it in for the Pulse Bomb. Like, even if you got a kill, could you really capitalize on it? Everybody was coming back from spawn. But we do see a nice little flank here from GZ, Dragon on top of it. The Sigma is in his sights, but actually, he's in Matt's sights, and that's going to be a double going down. Make that a triple as Arjunk gets taken down as well. Apostle gets taken out shortly afterwards. Tank Killer Mate going to be taking care of both of the tanks. How appropriate. And Fanshawe managed to hold.
They got a team kill, actually. That was pretty good. I'm actually surprised that even happened. Like, I think Bailable's Pulse Bomb was a little early, and because of that, a fight kind of started when everybody was sort of getting there as well, so they were getting their bearings and also sort of trying to keep each other alive. So I don't know if that was super beneficial, but you know what? We live and we learn. Maybe they have a plan going into it here, trying to cross this bridge. They have about 60 seconds remaining to push Fanshawe off of this cart and push it a few more meters. Cheesy is helping out with that. Bailable too.
That's definitely how you start something up. Cheesy find himself the triple as well. Just slowly but surely able to melt everybody down. Bailable at the end of the day made the switch over to the Cowboy too. So I guess if you're going to blow the ults before you switch, fair enough. And they do make it happen. They get themselves a very convincing team fight after Cheesy gets a ton of quick picks. And now they get that second point. They get 2 more minutes on the clock to try and make it all the way. But I don't know, this straightaway right here that the Saints are going to be walking into can be very difficult to try and deal with. We'll see how well Fanshawe can defend, and if they happen to give up the 3rd point or if they kind of meet them halfway.
Absolutely. It's also really cool to see Arjunk getting some kills. It seems like 9 was DPSing for a while there, and Arjunk's like, hey, hold on, man, I can do that too. So he swapped over to the Zen, and it seems like it's working out very well for him. The Gravitic Flux comes out from Fanshawe. However, that is a huge transcendence from St. Clair here. Bailable and Cheesy able to capitalize on it and take out 2 members of Fanshawe. We're going to hear a Deadeye come out. Oh, Matt takes out 9 and Bailable. Apostle gets a little bit of revenge onto Matt. G-Scale is going to take out Moon. Cheesy going to take out Tank. And G-Scale's also going to take out Nason. Looks like Saints might be able to push it to the end here.
This fight looked even for the longest time until it wasn't. Okay, so St. Clair Saints going to get all 3 points here on the Hollywood Hybrid attack with just under a minute left in the time bank. So Fanshawe, they have to do it better or at least get 3 points in like 30 seconds or something. But it is going to be a tough task at hand. And I'll tell you what, right now, the Deadeyes from Matt have been absolutely brutal in regards to its accuracy. Normally, it's one of those ultimates that like you hear it get thrown out and you assume everybody's behind cover at some point. He might get one if it was paired with a Shatter or something like that. But no, Matt has been consistently finding these picks. And if it's not with the Deadeye, he's still finding double kills on like the support line. And that's absolutely devastating, so I'm going to give some props to him there. However, Sick Love has been the lead tank here for the side of Fanshawe. And I feel like he's just been getting melted over and over and over again. Even for tank standards. Like, yes, you're the tank. You're supposed to take the damage. But I don't know why, but it just seems like they're dying so quickly compared to most tanks. And this has been something I've been noticing over. It was in last game especially, but into this game I've noticed it a few times as well.
I'm thinking that St. Clair is focusing him for some reason. Maybe they realize like that he's a big danger to them. I don't know if they know too much about the other team, but just having like a tank having one of the 2 tanks down is very big. Could turn the tide of a fight here. Looks like Bailable is going to try to get a pick early here too.
Okay, so almost a little bit of a double sniper composition coming out here. And never mind about the Sick Love. Sick Love's going to prove me wrong and then prove me right at the same time. Not going to be the first one down, but then all of a sudden gets brought right back into this. Apostle went down pretty quickly as well here for the side of the Saints. So the main tank in this defense. Oh, actually, hang on a second. It looks like Fanshawe, they're trying to like answer for Saints' speed run of point run, and they're speed running point run or 1 as well. The possible pause being called out here from the side of St. Clair. So right before this does get captured, we will be taking a quick pause break. Possible tech issue here. I believe this would have been on the side of St. Clair. I think I saw 9 throwing the P in chat first. And we're going to get to that lovely ringing noise, unfortunately, in our ears for the whole time. Hopefully they figure this out here. It looks like it's going to be a quick fix, but okay, so Saints melted point 1. Fanshawe melted point 1. Where do we go from here?
I'm not sure. All of a sudden, Nason kind of popped off there, got a triple kill right on the point and kind of like finished off the last few members of St. Clair. It looks like we are going to get started again.
Yep, there it goes. Okay.
Back into the game. No more ringing noise.
Okay. One thing, too. Nason. Was he in game 1? I feel like I called another DPS player, and I'm looking at production. He's agreeing with me here. So, yes, that was actually a sub in here at the start. We didn't call it out right away, but the switch here for Fanshawe, and to be fair, Mason's been kind of quiet during the defense, but for this attack so far, coming out huge.
Especially with the dragons coming through over here. 9 trying to fend off a wild monkey. Oh my goodness. Manages to knock out 2 members of St. Clair with that dive. G-Scale's trying to run away. Can't really escape
Oh yeah,
for
you're
long.
toast.
Yeah, it looks like Fanshawe's going to push back St. Clair, force them to regroup real quick. Just keep trying to stagger them.
Okay, so the Winston, of course, being picked up here from Sick Love. It's not the tankiest of main tanks, however, you can't nerf this. The underlying factor that the amount of chaos that a Winston in your backline can bring and force everybody's focus to go absolutely bonkers is just absolutely crushing it here against St. Clair as of right now. And now Sick Love can actually get really aggressive. Does have the Primal Rage, does have to pop it pretty quickly. But still, the raging Winston in a corridor like this would be absolutely wreaking havoc. And it looks like the Saints are going to try and bring some ultimates to the party to at least slow this down just a touch here. And sure enough, the Saints are going to clean this up, but it did take a couple of resources to finally do it.
We still have to hold this point for 4 minutes. It's literally 3 meters away from the second point. Might be a little bit of a tough task to do, but you know what? I believe in them. I think Fanshawe held for about the same amount of time on that point before St. Clair were able to cap it in our previous round. So, you know, it's a tall task, but I think they're up to the challenge. So, looks like they're just going to try to get some picks, try to keep Fanshawe back as long as possible, and I think their goal would be to waste time as much as possible.
Yeah, as of right now, Fanshawe, their pace is basically on the same pace of St. Clair's, but then this is where Saints ran into their big hiccup, right?
Yes.
Trying to finally finish the job here. If they can manage to speed things up, we'll have to see, and they'll be in the lead depending on how point 3 goes. But right now, it's looking like a little bit of deja vu, as right now it's going to be the Saints on defense, going to be cleaning things up versus Fanshawe. And that's going to at least answer with 1. Archunk will go down, but focused all in on him, and everybody else just kind of melted around them. So Saints, so far, defense holding strong. Still have 3 minutes, though, in order to stop from here.
St. Clair's in a pretty good spot right now. They have 2 ultimates, almost got a 3rd, and as I say that,
there it is.
Does have a 3rd, almost 4, and it looks like Fanshawe is not even really close to 1 right now. I mean, Diva has her remech by the looks of it, but there's nothing really going on the side of Fanshawe for ultimate, so they need to be really careful when going into St. Clair. As I say that, the Diva bomb comes out, doesn't get anything. Moon takes out Bailable. Postle, G-Scales, 9, gonna do some damage, take out 3 members of Fanshawe. They keep going, just knocking out the whole team. 1 more left, can they go get him? And they do. Moon happens to fall to G-Scales, and that's gonna be a reset for Fanshawe.
To be fair, that was a good idea, considering we've seen what happens when the Saints kind of put themselves in a panic situation. And nothing makes you panic like a Diva Bomb when you're in the wide open of a rooftop. And the only thing there was the 1 Orisa shield. So, forced the Saints all to jump right off the building, and they were kind of separated there. So the chaos was almost perfect, but the Saints did group up quickly enough, started finding some of their one-on-ones, started finding some of their picks, and it was all downhill from there for the side of Fanshawe. However, gonna try this again, hopping right to the high ground. Bob's gonna come down for the low ground, so it's gonna really force Fanshawe to play up on the rooftops, and as of right now, a bit of a 1-for-1. Cheesy's down. Bob does not make a very long appearance here. And then here comes Sick Love. Primal Rage already popped in, gonna try and lead the charge here for the side of the Falcons. However, kinda alone, but he's got the Baptiste pinned. 9 hanging on for dear life, but thankfully did have that vulnerability field there to keep him alive just a little bit more. Does have Arjunk there as well, but Arjunk does end up falling over and over again. Some close quarters battles, but as of right now, Saints able to hold, and there's only a minute left.
They're kind of just keeping them trapped in that one building. They do have the spawn advantage, so they can come back even faster. But they kind of zone them off over there. However, there are a few picks coming over from Fanshawe onto St. Clair. The Diva Bomb from G-Scales goes in, won't hit anything, and manages to get Mercy. Cliffwater goes down to G-Scales. Wow, I was not expecting that. Just managed to punch him, and wow, all right.
I mean, we see this gigantic mech, and the last thing we're thinking about is that mech punching something, but that being said...
Never ever think of that.
Surprisingly super effective. Steel type really effective in that regard, apparently. But we see the Saints on a very extended staggering of the side of Fanshawe, forcing this last-second blitz. This pace is literally identical. Fanshawe need to win this point right here, right now. Otherwise, it's going to be Saints taking game number 2. Can somebody touch? Yes. Sure enough, Sicklove coming in clutch. Does not have an ultimate, though, so he's going to get absolutely demolished. And G-Scale's leading the charge here for the Saints. Everybody else going in there. Apostle's going to find himself, too. Arjun Koppen in there at the shield bash, and that should finish the job as soon as they find this last one. Moon is crying. One last-ditch effort. You hear the announcer. Team kill. St. Clair taking game 2 and going to win the series, but we're still going to game 3.
For sure. That almost threw me off for a second. I was like, we're all done now, right? Wait, oh, we do have that third game. I keep forgetting. But that was a really close game. I mean, at the end there, if it looks like the players also forgot that it was we play all 3 as well. But yeah. Anyways, this play from Matt here was very good. Getting lots of headshots, just all around. Matt was a really good player that match, one of the MVPs in my opinion. In terms of aim, and those Deadeyes were just on point every time.
Yeah, it was absolutely finding as much value as possible in those ultimates, and even in just the standard flashbang was able to line up a couple multi-kills as well when the time asked for it. But that being said, could not wipe everybody out, so the Saints slowly but surely able to stonewall them at that second point, giving Saints the 3-1 victory. But then giving them, of course, the series win overall with 2 wins. Now we get to see what happens in map number 3. So Fanshawe should be able to pick one more. And then there should be the escort. So I don't think we have to deal with 2 capture point in this league anymore. But we'll have to see depending on what happens. And it looks like Rialto. So yeah, just strictly escort this time by.
So it appears your prediction was correct, Dan, with the Rialto.
Just needed King's Row in there, and I think we would have had the not the trifecta, because Lejean wasn't here either. But I would have had at least the 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Or we would have had 2, rather. But yeah, Rialto, just kind of everybody has something they like on Rialto, it feels like. Whether it be the long straights that like lean itself more towards sniping, to the one section right by the first checkpoint that has the open area for brawling there, and then even a couple of close quarters buildings that you get to fight in. There is something for everybody here at Rialto, and we'll oftentimes see team compositions just straight up switch midway depending on which point we're at, so it'll be an interesting one.
And completely different team compositions at that. Like they might be running dive at first, and they're like, you know what, we need to swap this up, and they'll play like pirate ship even,
yeah.
You know, well, in competitive play and everything like that. St. Clair, we have seen pull out a few different tricks from their magician's hat, you know, changing up the compositions. And just like you were saying earlier, Dan, Overwatch is starting to become one of those games where the players really determine the meta now. If you come up with something crazy, it might just work. So maybe St. Clair came up with something that's totally different that we're not ready for. It looks like they are strategizing something. But
yeah, like in theory, if the Saints really wanted to, if they had something kind of like prototyped ready to go, they could try it. But at the same time, do they want to reveal it? Do they just want to finish off this series? Do they want to risk dropping a map? It's all things to try and consider. Do you throw someone in off the bench to come play? Like, there's a few things that could definitely come to play into this situation. But at the same time, you still have to remember that every map counts. So this cannot be a slept-on match.
I'd be very interested to see if they're going to put in the new sub Yubel for this game. I mean, it's possible because technically they did win the series. So, I mean, it is a possibility, although every map does matter for this league. If you have a 3-0, it looks a lot better than a 2-1, I do believe. They take it into account.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see here.
Yeah, I was trying to peek at his screen to see if he was on the player's side or the Spectre's side. I think he is still on Spectre's side, so it is going to be the starting lineup coming to finish the job here. And then we shall see, of course, as we're flying through the streets of Rialto. One more side of attacking and defending. Just got to push this cart that looks like a venture from EVE Online. I swear I'm not a nerd. I swear I'm not a nerd. But anyway, looking like a fun one at that. Looks like Saints, if they're on the orange, or not the orange, the yellow side, I think they're attacking first, but I could be wrong.
This is such a beautiful map, in my opinion. It's just like, it's so well done. Ever since they released it, I've loved playing on it. It's just, I mean, sometimes it can be annoying, some parts of it, but other parts I love it. Like you said, there's a little bit for everybody there, so it's great to see just being able to see this map pretty much every week. People always playing it.
Yeah, as soon as we get past the first corner, I love this map.
Yes.
Because I have, of course, I am just a mere silver. And the amount of times I have been Orisa halted or hooked off the bridge and pulled in.
Oh my goodness.
And there's absolutely nothing I can do because someone catches me slipping, not behind a shield. Once we get around the corner, I absolutely love this map. But of course, we don't see any sort of shenanigans this time by Siklov might be able to find himself a cheeky little halt if they can find themselves in the proper position. But otherwise, should be a pretty straightforward battle here. Matt going to be showing a different hero this time by going to be picking up the Symmetra, so this is a little bit different from him.
We're going to see Arjunk on the Ana and 9 on the Zen, which is kind of interesting because usually 9 plays the role of like main support a lot more than Arjunk does,
right.
But we have seen Arjunk play Ana. As I say that, NECC will take out Jeezy, and G-Scales kind of, I think he fell into the water there?
I think the mate wall from NECC had him at a point where G-Scales was already so low on health, so he right-clicked and blew himself up. I think that's what happened there, but I could be wrong. Nonetheless, though, that does kind of stifle the Saints' attack for at least a second, but majority of them are just kind of up on the second floor of this building, waiting for everybody to kind of gather around here. And it is interesting seeing the different support lineup here because 9 has been basically strictly Baptiste almost for majority of these comp matches. So seeing him on something like a Zenyatta is definitely a little bit weird.
Oh, that's a huge
holy
purple!
Smokes, there is no healing for you on this side of Fanshawe. Arjunk was just absolutely massive in that regard. That being said, though, the tank line from Saints have been just traded out, so even though that was a beautiful start to the team fight, this just gets shut down nice and quick.
As an Ana main, I love seeing huge purples like that. Even if you can't capitalize on them, just being able to hit them is pretty impressive.
You just take the screenshot and you call it a day, right?
Exactly.
You do hear the nano boost coming out here. That is going to be Arjunk firing that one on out on top of Apostle, I do believe. And another solid purple coming out. Of course, when we're calling the purple, of course, that means that they cannot heal. So if you see purple health bars, that is what we're referring to. But this is a bit of a forced attack here from Saints. We've seen the Transcendence, we've seen the Primal Rage, we're seeing more and more ultimates. We're seeing Tank Killer come out here with the Shatter. But overall, the Saints look like they have finally found their grounds here. Taking down 3 more, and then it looks like everybody's back at base. So it's just a matter of pushing this little venture all the way to the checkpoint, and they'll have this first point.
The question here is, will Fanshawe recontest before St. Clair caps this point? Looks like they might try here. I think Tank Killer is kind of coming up there with the Ryan Shield in his team. Oh my goodness, a big grab, catching everybody in it. Oh my goodness. That's the whole of St. Clair taking out Fanshawe together with teamwork. The power of friendship, sponsored by Crunchyroll.
The classic combo alongside the power of friendship. That's just overpowered, and that combination cannot be nerfed. Beautifully done. The grab drag, we've seen it since day one, and there's a reason why we still see it. It's just so good in those close quarters scenarios, and it does give them the successful capture of this first point with some decent time. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock for them to try and get to the second one.
St. Clair kind of taking the, I guess, the high ground here in this situation. Available manages to land a pulse bomb, but doesn't take anything out but the immortality field. Whoa, getting in behind, up close and personal. Oh, misses the last little punch there, but
it is.
Manages to take him out.
Okay, right now, the Discord orbs coming out from 9 with Bailable hunting the target was actually a surprisingly devastating combo, and I really like what I'm seeing here from St. Clair so far. Because, of course, Tracer wants to get up close and personal to really get like maximum damage out of the submachine guns that she has. But that damage just amplified with that Discord orb is so scary. Speaking about somebody being amplified, though, here comes Apostle with a nano boost. There is going to be no stopping this Winston. He charges on in right with the rest of the squad. little bit the support line trailing behind, but it does not matter. They're just pushing W and just going for it. There is nothing that Fanshawe can do to stop this, it looks like.
So it looks like if St. Clair wins this fight here and they're trying to push the card in, all that G-Skills has to do is grab everybody coming out of spawn, and then they can hold it. But it looks like we're still going to have another fight. They're going to try to pick off. Oh, there's the Graviton Surge I was talking about, grabbing everybody. But doesn't manage to get too many kills in there. I think Matt goes down to Cheesy, and that's about it.
I think still a critical DPS going down. Tank Killer is taken down as well. G-Scales is just straight up 100% on that Zarya. That tank is now a DPS, if not one of the top DPS. The sleep dart. Oh my god. Good night, Moon. You are done. And to be fair, so is this defense as soon as they take care of this wrecking ball. Holy smokes, what a composition. What a change here from St. Clair. Can we see that again sometime?
I loved seeing the supports work with Bailable like that. That was really interesting because you typically don't see too much of that. You see a lot of like maybe one support and a DPS working together, or maybe you'll see like 2 DPS doing a combo ult. You don't really see both supports working with one DPS to help them succeed like that. But I think Zenyatta is one of those characters that you could throw the Discord orb out and kind of forget about it for a second and keep doing damage. Oh, he killed him. Okay, I could throw another Discord orb. And then you have Arjunk as well on the Ana, able to throw in those nades, get those purples so they cannot heal, and also just kind of like help support your DPS any way that you can. So you see that he's getting low, okay, you can heal him a little bit, right? So very, very interesting to see that, and I'd love to see more, actually.
And of course that Zenyatta Discord orb, the little purple orb that you sometimes see placed onto players, like that's across the entire team that gives like the bonus damage taken. So anybody who happens to hit that target is doing additional damage. So even G-Scales, if Apostle was on near Arisa or something, just peppering away, all of that is just amplified damage. That being said though, the DPS can absolutely abuse it the most. So that's why we're seeing it's Bailable absolutely go nuts. But now it's going to be Saints on the defense. We've seen them try to spawn trap before, and it worked last time. Let's see how this goes.
Classic Bailable Mei going in there.
Walled instantly.
Oh my goodness. We've seen him on the Mei so many times. Matt will manage to take out Bailable early though. That way the walls will not get in their way.
Okay.
Kind of back and forth. Although Sick Love does take out Cheesy, which is a big pick. Apostle manages to get pinned, but doesn't quite go down until Matt punches him. It's kind of neck and neck. St. Clair's going to have to back up a little bit because they do not have that spawn advantage. So.
Yeah, this is where you type worth in all chat and you go back to playing standard because it was a valiant attempt. It's worked before, but Fanshawe was absolutely having none of it here from St. Clair. They instantly, as soon as the wall goes up, the majority of them fell back. And if anything, Bailable got caught instead of the side of Fanshawe. So they're able to really fix that nice and quick without taking too much. The Saints, of course, will be able to be ready for at least one more battle here outside of this first checkpoint, but Ultimate's on deck. There is none, so it's just a firefight at this point, and it looks like Bailable goes down pretty early again.
Looks like Saints will have to do their best to regroup here. 9 is tempering in a little bit of damage, but
got him.
That's going to be it. Nason, wow, Nason has been getting a lot of damage this game ever since he swapped to Tracer. I'm almost wondering if Bailable's Tracer was annoying them a little bit, and he was like, hold my coffee.
Well, if you can't beat him, join him, right?
Exactly.
It's like, okay, Tracer's a bit of a pain. And I mean, to be fair, we've seen the Saints have trouble whenever there's like split focus scenarios. And Tracer is the queen of like split focus DPS, so fair enough in that regard. Apostle can load pretty quickly, however, support line right there to back him up. 9 has the window up. Hello, Doomfist. Okay, he nearly got out with his life, but a nice final shot from 9. Gather them all up with that Graviton. There is basically no help. That hammer is hitting everybody for massive damage, alongside the rest of the damage here from St. Clair as well. Apostle and the Saints just going to absolutely slice through that team like butter.
When you have a grab and you have a Reinhardt right there, you know, your Ana maybe could throw in a nade and you're set. You just got to keep swinging and everything in front of you is just going to go down, and that's exactly what happened here with Saints. Cheesy going to try to do a Deadeye early here. Oh, manages to get Cliffwater, which is a huge pick. Both supports from the side of Fanshawe are down. And NECC jumps into the water to get away. So,
yeah, and just like that, another push has been squashed here from the side of St. Clair. That being said, though, Fanshawe, they don't have to necessarily worry right now. There's still 3 minutes, 35 seconds left on the clock, but there's still plenty of time to gather up some ultimates, and even if you have to have one of those team fights where you're a little bit aggressive. Okay, hang on a second. We know exactly what that was. That was a huge jumping flank shatter coming out there from Apostle. However, what kind of value did it get, though? It got like 1, but that's about it. This is still extremely even.
I was not expecting to see that. All of a sudden, I just see a Reinhardt just jump on over, just hammer down from the heavens, knock over everybody, but sadly, just couldn't follow up on it fast enough. But that was very impressive. I was not expecting that at all.
I mean, it was impressive, but did it actually work? I really don't think it did. Yeah. Because even though that was, like, I'd classified that as it would have been a huge shatter. However, everybody was falling behind a wall. Nobody was there to follow up with them. So
exactly.
How valuable was it really, other than maybe getting the highlight, like, screenshot with everybody taken down?
Exactly.
Like, otherwise, it may not have been as effective as necessary here. Fanshawe is going to get cleaned up, though. Slowly but surely, the Saints all find their way back. And to be fair, good on Fanshawe for not really getting over-aggressive with their ultimates. They still have what will be 4 for this next team fight. Saints have 2, and they're both aggressive in nature. Nothing to keep them alive, so they're still very susceptible.
The Deadeye is going to come out here, take out Flipwater. So now they're down 1 support. That Lucio's speed is very important at this 1 step here. And as I say that, it was very important. St. Clair manages to take out the whole team of Fanshawe because Lucio's not there to speed them out. They can't get out fast enough, or they can't get in fast enough. And when you can't get sped through that corner, well, it looks like it's going to be the last corner you're ever at.
Okay, here I am talking about ult management and ult resources. The ultimate value is just straight up winning a fight without having to use an ultimate, period. Like, what in the world does this come out here from Saints, or just using the 1 ultimate there, rather, from Cheesy? The 1 ult, the 1 Deadeye, getting the 1 support, and that's all you really needed. And they basically did it again here. Apostle finding an extremely quick pick. Here Antamoon is crying, and everybody else just W forward and fire away, everyone. It's open season, and Fanshawe is for breakfast. They are all falling here. Cheesy does end up going down. Nason is not going to go down without a fight. Did even fire off the pulse bomb as well, so uh-oh, a little bit trigger happy. I think Fanshawe is starting to falter a little bit.
Fanshawe is about 1 minute to go, or they have about 1 minute to go before the point, before they need to reach the next point. If they don't reach it, then, I mean, St. Clair would be 3-0. Oh my goodness, Diva Bomb comes in, but just narrowly escapes there. Oh, Apostle lands on the boat. He's so lucky. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Luck is on his side today. He should go out and buy a lottery ticket. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. That's still on the meantime, though. The fight is still continuing on. Fanshawe's NECC did fire off the shatter. Moon is crying, did not have the invulnerability field available to him. Gets instantly demolished. Here's another team fight. And all of this because they could not kill the tank because a boat haul was saving them.
There is no time. There's no time for Fanshawe to touch. They have 10 seconds now. Oh my goodness, time is getting away from us. Unless, oh no, Apostle's gonna knock them all off the bridge.
Perfect. This is exactly what the Saints needed. Nobody is actually, never mind, I'm a liar. Somebody's there. Who is on the point right now?
How did so many get through to the point?
I have no idea, but can the chaos cause Fanshawe to capitalize? There's actually 4 on the point. They're moving this thing. It's right on the verge of getting to that second checkpoint. Where are they? Tank Killer and the rest of the crew. The tanks have made it through. They still have, I believe that's Matt. Who else is here? Can they get back in time to reinforce, or can the Saints clean this?
I think the Saints might be cleaning this up as we speak, but it still is a little bit back and forth. Nine gonna go in with his hammer, gets taken down. G-Scales just doing some work.
Tracer.
Oh, if they can just get this Tracer, then...
There she goes.
Oh, no, and they're jumping over the wall. They need to carefully dispose of the last members of Fanshawe, and as I say that, they will do so and win 3-0 against Fanshawe.
Okay, honestly, though, good fight, Fanshawe. That was actually fantastic. But
Absolutely.
dang, Saints, in the end, are going to find this in 3-0 fashion. Play of the game is going to go to Sick Love. A little bit of a redemption arc after having a bit of a rough game one here. Let's take a look and see what happens. We see the shatter in hand. Sure enough. Okay.
Look at that.
Massive shatter. Just lets
Beautiful.
Nason and everybody go absolutely nuts. And just one of the many plays that kept this series as close as it was. But my goodness, this may be a 3-0, but the score did not tell the tale of the series.
Now, Dan, I think we could call that a big shatter.
Absolutely, that was a big shatter. When half the team, if not like 3/4 of the team, are on the floor and there's absolutely nothing you can do.
It's a big shatter.
Absolutely, absolutely. But unfortunately, big shatter or not, it may have won you one team fight, but it did not win you the series. Saints going to take this 3-0 fashion. So just maximum amount of points they could possibly get for one session of NECC Overwatch. And basically the perfect day, so to speak, here for St. Clair.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be very beneficial to them now, that 3-0 score, considering the last week or two was kind of rough for them. They were kind of down in the dumps a little bit, and this will really help boost them back up into contention with some of the other teams that were doing a little bit better early on. So it's very good to see. And your prediction was right. I thought it was going to be a 2-1, but Dan, the caster's curse didn't happen this time.
There was a glimpse of hope for it to actually turn into 2-1, though. That game very well at the very end there could have turned into one more checkpoint where Fanshawe would have gotten another 2 minutes on the clock. They could have then got that third point, and then we would have had to fight it out through overtime. So the 2-1 was definitely possible, but just barely. The trickle was too much there, and Saints were just slowly but surely capitalizing. The defender's advantage was definitely helping Saints in that regard, but a fun series nonetheless, and looking forward to the next one. Now, we don't necessarily have a schedule slide here. However, the next matchup that we will be having live here on the Saints Gaming CA channel is going to be some Collegiate R6 Rainbow Six Siege happening tomorrow at 8:30. Normally it's a doubleheader. However, we have one bye, so it's just going to be the single match, one best of one. And with the way this R6 team has been playing so far, we can look back to last semester where I think we were 0-11. I don't think this team has lost yet in Collegiate R6 Premier. So it's absolutely insane, especially with how there's so many, new and then returning from a couple of years ago kind of players on that squad. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that one. But at the end of the day, of course, we are here for the Overwatch squad, so big props to them on their victory here today. It is decisive of a scoreline. Fanshawe fought hard, but unfortunately could not quite take a game or take the series here tonight.
Yep, very great play by everybody today. Awesome to see our Saints get a win in Overwatch. But I would like to also say thank you to our sponsors, especially start off with our new sponsor, Crunchyroll. We did speak about them a little bit earlier. Right now, you can get a 14-day premium trial for free at crunchyroll.com/Saints. Welcome, Crunchyroll, to the Saints family. Feel free to add us on Twitter and tell us what your favorite anime is, or in the Twitch chat. I always like recommendations. I'd love to watch more. And then we also have Tim Hortons and Subway and St. Clair Alumni Association and the SRC.
Absolutely. This program would not be possible without their assistance and their sponsorship. So thank you so much for all of your support. We, of course, also have the opportunity to have some straight up sick merch this semester. So be sure to check it out on our store, acquire.ca/Saints, to pick up all sorts of new Saints merch. You have a glimpse of it here on screen, but there's even flags, there's hats, and other styles of outerwear as well. And I think I liked what you called it. It was the Saints Dark Mode apparel here for this semester, and it's been giving lots of positive feedback. So if you want to get some for yourself, be sure to join us at acquire.ca/Saints.
For sure. It's very comfortable, too. I like to wear it when I'm gaming.
Perfect spot for it. Now, trying to think if there's anything additional to go through, but any last thoughts about the match here tonight?
Not really. Very proud of both teams. Awesome gameplay. Congrats to St. Clair. I've definitely seen an improvement over the past few weeks even. Just the team I don't know how you'd describe that, the kind of dynamic that they have.
Okay, now that you mention this, actually, this does make me think of something. So even like throughout the gameplay we saw today, mistakes happen. Of course, they always happen. But was there anything stupid that the Saints did today?
No.
Like super overextensions, like taking one-on-ones where you know you can't win. I feel like those mistakes weren't there today.
Which is very good.
Sometimes you get caught, yes, of course. Like you can be behind a Ryan shield and somebody still manages to smoke you from above or something like that. But there wasn't anything that I would call like an overextension, and that's awesome to see because last week it was full of them.
Yes, last week there was some overextensions and then some ultimates that probably could have been saved. Hindsight's 2020. But,
of course.
I mean, today I don't recall seeing anything like that unless they were really good at hiding it. They were like, "Oh, production's watching. We gotta be careful."
And if it was well hidden, it's because we do have to thank our new observer. Big thank you to Milo for coming in and doing the observing for us here tonight. And of course, big thank you to the rest of our back end here. Of course, that being Jackson and Donka for making the broadcast possible, allowing me to cast once again alongside you, Amanda. Thank you for commentating as well. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Dan.
And one last thank you, of course, to everybody for tuning in to the broadcast, whether you were here for the Saints or for Fanshawe. It's always a pleasure. And like I say before, like as much as this is the Saints stream, we want to see a good match, and we're always happy to see the team, like both teams, having at it at their best. So big props to Fanshawe. That was a good fight, and we look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.
GG's, Fanshawe. Hopefully, we'll see you in person one day soon, since you're not that far from us.
Absolutely. One day, hopefully. But that being said, we shall close out for tonight. So again, we'll see you next 8:30 tomorrow for some collegiate R6 action. Again, my name is Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners, alongside Amanda Commander Dupuis. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow.